If World War III starts, there are US states that will be hit first. Not because they did anything wrong, but because America chose them to be the shield. These states were picked to take the first nuclear explosions, so the rest of the country might survive. And the craziest part? Millions of people live in them, and most have no idea they're living on the front line of a nuclear war. Today, we're going through the 10 US states that might get hit first, and why these places became America's sacrifice zones. At number 10, it's New Mexico. New Mexico is where the nuclear age was born. Literally, the first atomic bomb on Earth was tested here at the Trinity site. Today, New Mexico is still the brain of America's nuclear system. Los Alamos builds nuclear triggers. Sandia builds the tech that makes nukes work. Thousands of engineers work on bombs America hasn't even admitted exist. This state designs the weapons, tests the weapon parts, fixes the old systems, and creates future systems. An enemy knows if New Mexico goes dark, America's nuclear brain shuts down. And its labs are surrounded by small towns, meaning any strike hits civilians immediately. We got a risk rating for the states. So Mexico's sacrifice risk is rated at 0.5 out of 10. That's really low. But if New Mexico is the brain, the next state is one of America's forgotten weapons dumps. At number 9, it's Missouri. Missouri looks calm, farms, rivers, barbecue smoke in the air, but beneath fields and suburbs sit abandoned missile bases, left over from the Cold War. Some held warheads the size of trucks. Some held launch pads, still intact underground. Missouri also borders major national rail lines used to move nuclear parts, missiles, and fuel. Enemy planners know this. Whiteman Air Force Base once stored nuclear bombers that could hit any country on Earth. That history matters. Targets never leave the list, they just move down. The risk rating for Missouri is also pretty low, at 1 out of 10. But the next state holds the command center for all of America's nukes. At number 8, it's Nebraska. Nebraska is quiet, open skies and farmland, but underground sits Stratcom, the headquarters of the entire US nuclear system. One building in Nebraska controls every nuclear submarine, every nuclear bomber, every ICBM missile, every satellite alert, every launch message, even every retaliation order. If enemies don't destroy Stratcom instantly, America launches back with full power and wipes entire countries off the map. That makes Nebraska a priority kill target. Enemies only get one shot. Nebraska must be among the first to fall. And the state's flat land makes radar tracking easier, meaning any strike here is designed to be fast, direct, and lethal. The sacrifice risk rating for Nebraska is 2 out of 10. But if Nebraska is the brainstem, the next state is America's eyeballs. At number 7, it's Colorado. Colorado hides the most secure bunker in America, Cheyenne Mountain. This bunker can survive nuclear blasts, EMP waves, shock waves, radiation, and even chemical attacks. Inside it sits NORAD, the system that watches the sky 24/7 and spots enemy missiles the moment they launch. If Colorado is destroyed, America becomes blind for several minutes. Those minutes could decide everything. Colorado also holds space command centers, satellite control rooms, high-altitude research bases, the Air Force Academy, major communication nodes. Knocking out Colorado cripples America's ability to react. The sacrifice risk rating for Colorado is 1.5 out of 10. At number 6, it's Kansas. Kansas looks harmless: corn, highways, sunsets. But Kansas sits under multiple nuclear flight lanes. If an ICBM aimed for another state drifts even a little, Kansas becomes the impact zone. The state is also filled with old missile fields, many sealed but never removed. Shallow, hard-to-hide scars of Cold War planning. During the Cold War, Kansas was placed inside America's missile envelope, meaning dozens of nuclear weapons would pass over it in the first minutes of a global war. Kansas is also a backup relay zone for America's emergency radio systems. Take out the towers, messages stop. The sacrifice risk rating for Kansas is still low at 1 out of 10. But if Kansas has the old scars, the next state has the modern firepower. At number 5, it's Washington. Washington is home to the most dangerous weapon on Earth, the Ohio-class nuclear submarine. Each one carries 24 missiles. Each missile can carry up to 8 warheads. One submarine equals 192 nuclear explosions. Naval Base Kitsap is the main home of these submarines. If a foreign military doesn't hit this base first, America fires back with city-ending force. Washington also holds nuclear-ready airfields, major shipyards, deep-water ports used for nuclear transport. And Seattle is a tech hub, meaning enemy cyber strikes pair perfectly with physical strikes. The sacrifice risk rating for Washington is 2 out of 10. But if Washington holds raw power, the next state is designed to take the hit.
At number 4, it's South Dakota. Under South Dakota's quiet farmland sit 150 active Minuteman III missiles. These aren't museum pieces, they are live, checked daily, ready 24/7. A missile silo in South Dakota can go from silent to fully launched in minutes. That means enemies must destroy them fast. These silos sit miles apart, so one bomb can't take them all. That forces enemies to fire multiple nukes into one state. South Dakota was literally built as a nuclear sponge, a region designed to absorb fire so major cities live. If these missiles survive even 3 minutes, they retaliate. The sacrifice risk rating for South Dakota is quite high, at 2.5 out of 10. But the next state is even more spread out, even harder to erase. At number 3, it's Wyoming. Wyoming has the widest missile fields in America, hundreds of miles, dozens of silos, launch crews in underground bunkers, round-the-clock security. Wyoming was chosen because it's huge, empty, and predictable. No skyscrapers, no major cities, just wide-open land, perfect for hiding nukes. An enemy must fire many missiles to hit everything, and even then they might miss. Wyoming is also home to massive radar zones and open land used for aircraft training. If World War III begins, Wyoming gets hit almost instantly. The sacrifice risk rating for Wyoming is also kinda high, at 2.5 out of 10. At number 2, it's Montana. Montana is the front door to America in a nuclear war. Montana has over 150 active nuclear missiles spread across mountains, plains, and valleys. It also holds early warning radar, launch command centers, nuclear fuel storage, and bomber training zones. Montana's missiles sit closer to Russia than any other continental US missile. That makes Montana a guaranteed target, and it actually got a high sacrifice risk rating of 3 out of 10. But one state has even more targets, more systems, more silos, more responsibility. At number 1, it's North Dakota. North Dakota is target number 1. No wiggle room, no debate, no hesitation. Why? Because North Dakota holds America's largest cluster of nuclear missiles, one of America's most important bomber bases, early warning radar, launch crews, nuclear aviation fuel, communication lines. If North Dakota survives even 5 minutes, America strikes back and ends the war. If North Dakota falls instantly, the enemy gains a tiny advantage. So if missiles fly, North Dakota gets hit first. The sacrifice risk rating for North Dakota is the highest, at 3.5 out of 10. But one important thing to note, these states weren't chosen randomly. They were chosen because of their land, their location, and the bases America built on them. Some states protect America. Some states are the protection. And these 10 states sit right on the edge of the world's most dangerous line. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. This is Glore.